Welcome in, guys. Happy Monday. Welcome to tonight's charting session. It is September 25th. Hopefully, everybody is having a good day and a good night wherever you are. Tonight, we're going to be going over today's price action. I did not trade in the morning this morning. Again, in the mornings, I normally do not trade Mondays, but recently, the last 2 Mondays have been starting to get a lot better, a lot of cleaner action. I'm hoping that you guys have been noticing that we've been getting clean action like I said we would. Earlier this month, everybody was freaking out because I said in mid-September to late September is when we'll start to get good action heading into the rest of the year. And a lot of people were scared because we were getting a lot of choppy action, hard to understand the draw. Again, it wasn't efficient. It was just kind of all over the place. But I'm hoping in the last week or two, you've noticed some action starting to clean up, easier read on the draw and liquidity, and just easier read in general. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. My bias going into the morning, I did take one little setup earlier. I took two little scalps on an evaluation. I was just kind of back testing price action. I don't normally risk anything on Mondays just because I like to sit back and just kind of watch and test price action. So that's what I did today. But we're going to kind of go over my bias going into the morning, what I ended up taking, and talk about what we're looking at going into tomorrow. So going into NQ, like I said on last night's charting session on Sunday, my bias was going into today and kind of into this week is going to be mainly zoomed in on the 15-minute, and that's where I'm going to get a lot of my bias. I'm not too focused on the daily and the 4-hour, and the reason is because noticing where we are on the daily and the 4-hour, we just ended up sweeping this sell side level. So a lot of the times I'm expecting once we do this to accumulate at the lows, which notice that's exactly what we've been doing. We've been starting to accumulate at the lows. So that's why I'm more focused on these intraday. This 15-minute chart is where I've been kind of my bread and butter and my focus on where the draw is going to be in intraday. So my bias going into the morning was bullish. The reason why is we've just swept this internal sell side level. Again, on the daily, we swept that sell side level as well. So I was looking to see accumulation, looking to see any possible intraday setups to target, buy side or sell side. So the first thing going into the morning was this right here. Now, intraday, we ended up getting internal sell side swept in the morning. Noticing internal, this would be, again, external. It's all fractal, depending on what time frame we're looking at. We end up getting nice displacement coming up, sweeping this. And a lot of the people in the Discord at the time were looking to take shorts here. Now, shorts were not a bad opportunity, but a lot of you guys were targeting these equal lows on here. And I'm going to tell you why this was not a bad trade, but I didn't take it. And instead, I was looking to take longs to go higher. Now, at this point in time, again, this is when you guys were a little bit too zoomed in here. The people that were taking shorts, again, it wasn't a bad trade. I think it ended up working out, but we didn't get that full trade. And the reason is because we had to zoom out, right? Understanding where we are on a 15-minute. We just swept this sell side level. This is now our internal sell side now being swept. When we get this big move back up to buy side, I'm now looking to see a retracement to hold this to then go back inside of this range here, right? I'm looking to see distribution, or accumulation, and then seeing the manipulation move at the lows to then have that expansion move back to the upside, which is what we got today. So in the morning, I actually want to see if there was anything really on the 1 minute here. So going into the morning, this would have been the trade that if you were looking to take shorts, and I actually wanted to see where... because I don't even think that standard deviation-wise, our projections didn't even get met because I wouldn't have really looked to take this, just because it's lower probability. But if you were to look for take shorts, you had buy side swept, again, waiting for no displacement. Right here is when I would look to take a short. Again, noticing as well this fair value gap getting ran through, and then this would be my entry acting as an inverse fair value gap. And then we also have a small little fair value gap here, which I would be looking to take my entry off of here if I was looking to take shorts. Ended up working out. My main target for this would be the 15-minute fair value gap that we had down here. And that's why I had a long bias. So zooming out in the Discord today, for those of you that were trading intraday, a lot of you, when I was at the gym at the time, but I saw a lot of you guys were looking to take shorts. And I posted a screenshot of this chart right here. And I said, be careful taking shorts here. Notice what this price, looking at this chart here, what does it look like to you? To me, we now have sell side swept. Intraday is now swept. We're coming up. We want to see this bullish PD array start to hold. Notice we also have a breaker here as well. We have a breaker block gets pulled over through this fair value gap. This I have a lot of confidence that we are going to hold this PD array to then bounce back towards buy side up here, or at least just make new highs and go towards higher. But I'm expecting this to be the draw in liquidity at this point in time. So intraday, I'm saying be cautious taking shorts. Again, noticing zooming out, bigger time frame PD arrays, we end up coming down as well as having this intraday 5-minute fair value gap and just being extra cautious taking shorts. That's why I did not alert any shorts this morning. I didn't like any shorts, and I was more long bias. Now, my long bias now was this. I was looking to see if there would be a possible long opportunity in this fair value gap, but I need to see a little bit more structure. Now, if I was to take a long here in this fair value gap, the best things that I would want to see here is, number one, there's two ways that I could trade this. Now, the best way, or not the best way, but one of the best ways would be to enter off of this 15-minute fair value gap and put a stop below it. Now, the reason why sometimes you guys, and myself as well, I'll get stopped on a trade, but the draw on liquidity will still go, and it'll still go in my favor after I get stopped out. The reason is because sometimes I put my stops a little bit too tight instead of understanding and giving room for the bigger time frame PD array, right? And in this specific example here, the bigger time frame PD array was this 15-minute fair value gap. So if I was to enter here and maybe put a stop below it, somewhere here, this would have been a great opportunity to enter long just in this fair value gap, not having to worry about all of the, the chop that goes on here, and instead just entering, putting your stop, and letting that intraday action, fulfill until we then get that bounce back, right? Because just based off list, I had a lot of strong bias that we were going back towards the upside here. So zooming in intraday, again, best quality opportunity for me to take a trade here is looking to see internal sell side being swept first. So right now, just forming structure. And then I think this is where I alerted longs here. So this was an opportunity. I said longs do not look bad here. This is a possibility. The reason is because we ended up coming down, holding this 15-minute fair value gap. We've now went back to discount of this range, and we've now had displacement back to the upside, right? We put in a low. We have now had market structure shift and now pulling back into this inverse fair value gap. So I alerted this long, and I said longs do not look bad here. First target would be coming back to take this high and then looking to see new highs as well. We end up holding this, getting a nice push to the upside, taking off some contracts here, and then the rest ended up getting stopped out at break even. So at this point in time, when we get stopped at break even and I see this big fair value gap to the downside, I'm expecting price to probably go lower here. So again, I'm still watching. Noticing price ends up coming down and forms a SMT at the lows. Again, another great confluence here. This could be another possible long opportunity because, again, even on a smaller time frame, this move back towards the downside, just because this long right here did not work out, does not mean that I'm still not long biased, because on a bigger time frame, we're still holding that imbalance. We're still holding the 5-minute order block right here. We are still bullish, and I am still bullish at this point in time as well. So this is another opportunity to possibly take a long. Now we end up getting a big move to the upside, and at this point in time, you could be looking to take longs or just enter longs, in my opinion. And we end up getting a move right to the highs and just skyrocketing back up. So this is the morning action. After this big move right here, I would step away and kind of come back later because, again, looking at this, I know that we're going to have this. Again, it's expansion, accumulation, expansion, right? So I'm expecting accumulation. I don't want to get chopped up in that. Now, zooming out, back to the 15-minute. Again, I'm looking for the exact same thing. What's being respected? What's being disrespected? When we hold this fair value gap, and we get this big move back up, the draw is clear to me. I'm very confident that we're going to this high. So now the best possible way that I could look to trade this is now seeing and waiting for that internal structure. So again, I have another 15-minute fair value gap here. I want to see us come back down here, and I want to see price look to respect this area. So another thing I'm going to draw at is in this 15-minute fair value gap, I'm actually going to draw in what is in discount of this range. So we have this range that we've now created. Again, another range here. And I'm looking to see discount of this range, which is this 5-minute fair value gap. So this is kind of the best area that I'm sort of watching to see price come back to and start to form more structure here. So again, what am I waiting for? I'm looking for price to come in here, form structure, have some sort of sweep of liquidity, and then have break a structure or a bounce back to the upside. So again, at this point in time, I would still really be watching to form intraday. Again, a lot of times if you're entering, now again, one of those things, like we said earlier, you can take this trade off of this 15-minute fair value gap, or this 5-minute. You could enter long right in this 5-minute fair value gap, put your stop below it, and target that high and still have a really good trade, 2 to 1, 1 to 2. That's a great trade because you have good conviction with it, right? And a lot of the times you're not going to get faked out like you would trying to, get 1 minute entries in this accumulation area right here. So again, at this point in time, I'm still not looking to take a trade because, again, we have a low now put in. We have accumulation. I'm looking to see a low get taken first and then have a big move back to the upside. So we now have sell side. We have some stacked lows coming here. I'm waiting for us to come back, sweep that level, and then immediately bounce back to the upside to target that buy side level. So again, zooming on the 1 minute, there was possible opportunities to scalp. Today was a perfectly good scalpers market. A lot of the people that have been trading that 15-second, a lot of opportunity today on the 15-second chart. Just looking to scalp these again. A lot of clear opportunities on the 15-second. I mean, just looking at this right here, this could have been an opportunity. I'm not even sure if this worked out, but let's see. Right, we have buy side swept, big displacement back down. We could pull back to that fair value gap, sell off, and then we could look to dump again. Beautiful risk, and then you look, that would have been a great trade right there. And just also the risk reward on this is really nice, right? Just putting your high at the stop, letting this go because you have this internal confluence. This is one thing I like about trading the 15-second is you get a lot more intraday setups and a lot more opportunity, which is really nice, especially when we have consolidation like this on like a 5 minute or a 1 minute. You can zoom down to that 15-minute or that 15-second and take a lot of these intraday models that we normally look for on the bigger time frames. So again, but the best trade I was looking for, we'll see come down, sweep that sell side level. I'm waiting, and boom. All right, so now, right when we sweep this, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this fair value gap to get ran through, and I'm going to immediately look to enter. I'm waiting. All right, right now, I would look to enter long, possibly in this fair value gap right here, or in this big fair value gap right here, or in this fair value gap right here. I really don't care whatever entry gives me the best is what I'm looking for. Possibly scale. If we go lower, I'd like to scale more, but that would probably be the best entry right here is coming back into this inverse fair value gap right here. And now everything has been met. Everything I need to see has now happened. We've continuing to hold this 15-minute or this 5-minute bullish fair value gap. We've now swept internal liquidity. This looks like a clear low resistance liquidity run. Again, all of these highs stacked up. We know that this is going to get ran through with a big move. Again, noticing what I've been saying in these charting sessions, when action starts to clean up in the later months and in the earlier of the year, summer months, we don't get this, but you'll notice when price is efficient, we will go straight to those areas, right? Notice right when we come down, we form all of this. This is a perfect power of 3 model right here. We have accumulation. We have the manipulation move right here. And then we have the distribution move, right? Perfect power of 3 example right here. And again, using the power of 3 in our existing bias already, right? Our existing bias is already bullish. I think the draws here. We have that sell side met. Internal, we've been bullish. Order flow all day, holding bullish PD arrays, expansion moves. I'm expecting to come take this high here. So I'm looking for an entry. 1 minute. A lot of the times you'll notice, sometimes you'll get, if you're trading or if you're waiting for too much confluence as an entry wise, waiting for that fair value gap, whatever it is, a lot of times you might miss that intraday entry. So a lot of the times I'll look for inverses to take it or waiting for us to run through those fair value gaps, and then I'll take it when we run through them. But this would be my main entry here is when we run through both of these fair value gaps, these would be my entries here. Because notice we have a big imbalance here. So a lot of the times if you're like, okay, Justin, where do I enter? Because this is like a really big area, right? A lot of the times, because we have a bullish fair value gap here, bullish fair value gap here, a lot of the times when I'm looking to enter off of like an area like this, I'll look to the left and play the inverse fair value gap inside of whatever that is. Because that's the balanced price range, right? That's the area that we're most likely to respect. So then after that, you can see we end up getting bought straight up to that buy side level. And there we go. Draw on liquidity is now taken. Again, low resistance liquidity run. All of these highs are now swept, and we get straight up move to that like we were planning for in the morning. So again, price action was clean today. It was nice. I'm very happy with the way the market's looking. So let's talk about what we're looking at going into tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, let's clear up the charts a little bit here. We do want to keep in account that I do want to do a little bit of a top-down analysis like we were talking about before. Again, the weekly fair value gap is still what I want to see become the draw, but we still could possibly bounce here. So this is where I want to see price go. But noticing ES, we are already in this fair value gap. ES has already swept buy side, or sell side. We've had a big move to the downside, and we're now in this weekly fair value gap. So I am pretty bullish going into tomorrow. Now, we could, again, see a possible short model. You could see us, we came up on ES. We just swept this intraday high here, rejecting off this 1 hour. So again, at these lows here, when I'm expecting either accumulation after sweeping sell side, I'm going to be focused, like I was today, on the 15-minute. 15-minute is going to be my main time frame that I'm focused on going into tomorrow. This is going to give us that intraday bias and give us a good understanding of where we want to go intraday, because I'm expecting accumulation at the lows, right? Especially after sweeping this big external sell side level. So that is what I'm playing my bias off of, right? Using that to my advantage. So using that 15-minute intraday setup, marking out my buy side, sell side levels, and just watching price action, watching to see the reactions of PD arrays. And that is really going to give me my bias. Again, I don't like to go into the market trying to predict what's going to happen, but have a loose bias, right? If my bias doesn't go my way and things tell me otherwise, then I quickly switch it and I realize that, hey, market's telling me this instead. I'm going with this. This is what I have confidence in. And that's kind of my main mentality going into the rest of the week, this week, especially, after sweeping the sell side level. So staying on the smaller time frames, waiting for structure to form, letting the market tell me what it wants to do. And when I do see opportunity intraday, that's when we'll take an opportunity. But I'm going to stick to these lower time frames going into tomorrow. I like this 5-minute. We're starting to form some structure here. I do possibly expect us to maybe sell off, sweep here, maybe go back higher. But again, I'm going to mark in our next recent high here acting as buy side. This is a possibility where we could go as well. And then something I do want to mark out as well is I'm expecting us to have, we do have a daily fair value gap here. So this is kind of where I want to expect the draw on liquidity to be actually. Noticing this fair value gap on the daily, and these last 3 daily candles now opening in, again, accumulation. Notice right when we take the sell side level, like I said, a lot of the times right when we take this, we're going to accumulate. Notice the last 3-day candles have just been in this range right here, right? So I'm looking to see expansion move back up into this daily imbalance here. And on the 4-hour, this is actually that high that we're looking at right here. Again, keep in mind as well, though, big wick here. What do we like to mark out? If we have a big wick here, what do I like to mark out, right? I like to mark the consequent encroachment of this wick. What's going to tell me here is if we come up and continue to respect this area and fail to go higher, I could expect us to not go to buy side and instead sell back off. So I'm going to keep this on my chart. If we come up here tomorrow and form, accumulation and then distribution back to the downside, we could expect to hold that and not go back to buy side and instead sell off prematurely. So that's an opportunity as well. But we'll see how that ends up playing out. All right, let's take a look at ES. Again, ES, pretty much the exact same thing. Waiting for that intraday structure. ES price action was okay. NQ was a lot cleaner today, in my opinion. ES is not that bad though. But I've been really enjoying NQ's price action recently. Let's take a look at gold. Again, gold I'm still really bearish on. I alerted those shorts earlier on Sunday in the charting session somewhere up here. So again, gold should still continue to sell off. I'm looking to see us take this low. In fact, we might probably take that like right now in the overnight session. And then after this, I do expect us to go lower here, but now that we're sweeping internal, we definitely could bounce back to 50% of this range, which is probably what I'm expecting to. So whatever low we put in here and we get displacement up, I'm expecting us to go back to discount of whatever this range is here. Let's take a look at oil. Oil's looking, again, choppy as usual. Still bullish on oil until that external level is taken, but I do like these equal lows here, or actually kind of not really equal lows, but I would like to see, actually, we could definitely hold this. I mean, we have swept this kind of level here. Big displacement back up. We're holding this 4-hour fair value gap right here. Swept that internal level. We definitely could start to bounce back up actually here. But again, CL, I really don't like trading CL anymore, so it's very, very choppy. All right, any trades that you guys want me to go over or any questions so far? Do you think the 1-minute bearish fair value gap on ES at around 718 was a valid inverse for longs? Let me check here. 718. So that was pre-market, yeah. 718, what time? PST. Okay, so EST, that would be 1018. Okay, I gotcha. No, I don't. Yeah. And the reason is because again, the risk on this, right? The risk on this is, in my opinion, isn't worth to take longs here. If I'm looking to take longs, I'm looking to take it somewhere here. Right, looking to take an inverse here. If I was looking to take a trade, again, it's either we come down here or there's no trade. In my opinion, I think entering here, again, notice we didn't even come into this fair value gap here, right? If anything, I would be looking to take here, right? But here, nah, there's no way. The risk is way too skewed here because the main target is this high. So me entering long in this inverse, the risk reward, because we could definitely come all the way back down here before going higher, right? So the risk reward on this is pretty skewed. I mean, even if you're going to hold it to there, like it's you could, but I wouldn't look to take a trade there. Yeah. I have a question on the SD video. Does it have to resweep internal or just use the leg that swept internal? No. So basically the way that I use standard deviation is wait for the displacement down and then look for whatever the manipulation move is, right? Because we don't know what the manipulation move is until we get displacement. So wait for displacement first and then take whatever that last move is. Does that make sense? So I took this trade, so I'm starting to realize I placed my stops too tight. Yeah, one thing as well is we weren't in discount as well, right? Here, let me open this up on the screen here. So if I'm looking to take an entry here again, noticing if we have two fair value gaps like this, we have one right here and one right here. I want to take whichever one is in discount of this range, right? So go to the high to the low, and you'll notice discount probably lines right here. And I like to take the one in discount. So this is where I'd be looking to take a trade. And if I'm being honest, what time frame is this? 1 minute on ES? I'm not even sure if this was a valid trade or not. But even if it was, I would still have been looking to take a trade here. And yeah, your stop should definitely be at the high. Or at least the high of this fair value gap. Here, because this fair value gap can still be validated by getting it ran through until this wick. So, but just probably put it at the high. You put a stop above a high? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, how did Dave's live? Did you guys enjoy Dave on live this morning? You guys want him to do more lives? It was awesome so far. Yes, great live. Hell yeah. Okay, because me and Dave. I'm trying to get Dave on the schedule right now. So adding again, giving you guys more value to get more people and more confident traders and good, like really good traders into on the team of tactical traders, and just giving you guys more value. Because the days where where I won't live trade like on Mondays, I'm trying to get Dave to live stream Monday mornings and possibly do PM sessions later in the week as well. So be on the lookout for that as well. Can you check where you would put your SL if you took 1032 bullish for value gap on NQ? Had mine at 8020, got stop hunted. Let's see. 1032. What time frame? Yeah. So stop here, in my opinion, again, I would put my stop here. And that's fine. The reason is because, okay, so there's two ways. There's two ways about this, right? Again, like I said earlier, one way is going to be more risky. You're more likely to get stop hunted. The other one, you're less likely to get stop hunted, right? So the first one is, yeah, I really like this trade here. I alerted longs in this for value gap. I took partials off here, and then with this move to the downside, ended up stopping me out break even. So my original stop was here, and that would have gotten stopped, but I got stopped at break even, so it didn't really matter. But again, you wouldn't have to worry about putting your stop here if you were focused on that 15-minute fair value gap. So zooming out again, playing this, because this is what is really giving your bias here, right? This is what is really understanding on what the market wants to do here. Is this 15-minute fair value gap as well as this 5-minute order block? So putting your stop down here is really going to, give you more room to not worry about whatever happens in this intraday action. And then adding to your position once you see that displacement back up, right? So that's one thing I recommend is doing this. Once you get this move back up, enter a starter position in this fair value gap. And then look to add your full position when you get that move to the upside, right? So adding your full position possibly here or when we come back down and form the SMT, right? Once we form the SMT, then it's go time. And then start to, accumulate a position on the way up. All right, scaling into your winners. You got it, James. You got it, brother. SMT is a divergence between ES and NQ. So at this specific time right here, when ES or NQ was making a higher low, ES was making a lower low, which is a bullish SMT. I have a whole video on it. If you go to my YouTube and you can watch that whole video here, but you can see here on ES, we were forming a lower low, which is a bullish SMT divergence. Where would you have to take a short on ES this morning if you looked to take when it swept internal buy side? On ES, if I was to take a short. So 1 minute came up, I would be looking to see here, and then I would zoom into a 15-second and then wait for displacement back down. So again, we come up, sweep this big move back to the downside, market structure shift, come up here. I could look to automatically enter short in this fair value gap, put my stop at the high, or I could zoom in even more, go to the 15-second, and then enter right here. This would be the best entry possible. The best entry possible, zooming in. Once we come up, again, noticing sweep internal, displacement down, enter right here, off this retest. Once we get this big move up, retest, short. My bad, my first call, but do you only trade indices? No, I trade Forex as well. Valid? Yes. Yeah, that's the trade that I liked later on. Yeah, that's a valid trade. Wasn't today seek and destroy conditions, so after we took that London low, couldn't we have looked for proper entry to target London high, expecting our confluence to be long bias? I didn't even realize. Is it a seek and destroy today? I didn't check. Yeah, London, Asia, London. Yeah, yep. It was. It absolutely was seek and destroy today. Absolutely. That would have added even more confluence onto my bullish bias. So seek and destroy conditions is basically when Asia session, and London session, when we create a high in Asia session and London session, first, in Asia, we create a high and low, right? Notice this is the high, this is the low of Asia session. In London, notice we take both the high out and the low out of the Asia session in London session. And then right when New York session opens right here, we end up taking the low out of London. So this is seek and destroy conditions. When we have Asia session high and low get taken out, both London session, and then right at open London session low or high gets taken, a lot of the time you will see also the London high and low get taken in the whole New York session. So notice we took London session out here in the morning, and then by the end of the day, we ended up taking the high out as well. That's seek and destroy conditions. All right, guys, that is pretty much all I have for you guys tonight. enjoy the rest of your night. If you have any future questions, again, always feel free to just message in the Discord, and I will always be there to help you guys out. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you all tomorrow morning to get ready for trading. So enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you then. Peace.